Convention Centre, where we find my colleague Thulasizwe Simelane, who's keeping an eye on the proceedings for us this morning. Thulas, a very good morning to you. What are you seeing in terms of preparation?
Well, Yuveka, I can tell you that the area around the Sandton Convention Centre, there's a ring of steel, quite literally. The police have set up barricades in the form of these instant fences for a good block around the Sandton Convention Centre, and the area is demarcated with cones to sort of control the flow of traffic, and police are stationed all around the Sandton Convention Centre, and there's a good reason for that. You have the leaders of the 5 nations, that is Brics, Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, as well as a litany of other leaders from the African continent who have been invited to be here as part of the Brics outreach program. So with the presence of heads of state from all of these countries, security is really tight around the Sandton Convention Centre. The program for the Brics nations, the 10th summit, gets underway in earnest this afternoon around 3 p.m. with speeches to be delivered by President Cyril Ramaphosa, as well as the presidents of Brazil, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, as well as the President of Brazil, the President of Russia. I don't see him on the program for today. That is Vladimir Putin, and it's a bit curious as to what is the meaning of that. But the other presidents are here. The President of China, Xi Jinping, who met with President Ramaphosa yesterday, also on the program to make some remarks today. So it's the start, and then tomorrow they'll really get down to the business of discussing under the theme of Brics in Africa, collaboration for inclusive growth and prosperity in the 4th industrial revolution.
Wow, that sounds like a mouthful to us, but we already know that quite a few deals being struck already before this, so it seems much of the business has been done already.
Yeah, absolutely, Yuveka. The whole idea around Brics is really to try and increase and intensify collaboration between these nations. And as it stands now, I mean, many reports indicating that the 5 nations of Brics have surpassed what were expectations from around 2001, in that they now represent about 25% of the world's gross domestic product, GDP. So already signs of, what can be achieved with collaboration between these nations, and trade between these nations is really significant, running into hundreds of billions of US dollars per annum. And yesterday we saw, of course, those agreements being reached between South Africa and China. And that's just between 2 nations only, not to mention between the 5 nations. So yesterday there was that commitment of some $14 billion in trade, commitment by Chinese investment into South Africa, as well as loans being secured by the country's parastatals, Transnet and Eskom. Eskom securing a loan of some 2.5 billion US dollars, much needed really injection into Eskom, given the state of the finances there and the critical nature of Eskom in South Africa's economy. So it really is about that, but really the focus at this summit also being on trying to extend that to make sure that African countries also benefit from this Brics arrangement. Therefore, the invitation to leaders from countries including Ethiopia, Rwanda, Gabon, Namibia, Zambia, a whole lot of nations that have been invited. In fact, according to the Minister of International Relations, Lindiwe Sisulu, where the countries that have not been able to confirm the attendance of their head of state, there will be certainly a representative from that country, possibly a head of government or a representation at a really high level.
All right, thanks very much, Thulasizwe Simelane. We'll let you get somewhere warm now. Freezing outside the Sandton Convention Centre there this morning ahead of the start of the Brics Summit, the 10th annual summit being held there. As he says, the program